Hi guys, this is Breaker, and I am back casting ROOTerdam versus Hephaistas. Now, this is going to be very interesting to say the very least because we are on a very large map. I think that with the last two replays we've seen with, Hephaistas playing against pro players or at least members of well-respected teams on just, Daybreak LE, I think that the chance of us seeing a Nidus all-in will be much lower, but let me go ahead and give you guys an introduction to both players. Without him, we would not be here, I would not be here casting this replay right now. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for eXeA Hephaistas, the first European Zerg member of eXeA to make it to GM, and a master without control groups. And in the upper right hand corner, he does casting for the NASL quite regularly. According to his TeamLiquid.net blog, he has only recently passed the 1-year mark of living in the USA. It's none other than ROOTerdam, or if you will, just ROOTerdam. Now, as for the map that we are on, it is quite large in size, to say the very least. I've heard that Zerg has a predominantly higher victory rate than Protoss on this map. I want to say it's not directly because of speedlings, but I would say they are a very influential force in this. And if I may for just a moment, kind of forgive me if I make any mistakes in casting. As you can see, the sun is shining through my window, creating a glare on my monitor. Just thought I'd give you guys a preview of what's going down on the webcam. Now, I'm a little curious to see just what Hephaistas is going to do. He's going to try and go for a hatch first opener. On this map, I would say it's semi-ideal. It is always risky, but he's relatively safe for now as long as he keeps vision on his natural. We have the Overlord kind of moving out. The second one, I think this direction is rather appropriate. I really like the fact that Hephaistas sent his Overlord in the south direction. He did this because, of course, it would reach this natural location first, and if he were to scout the Nexus, the pylon, at the very least, he would get the hint that his opponent is at the south spawn, which is not the case this game. Forge fast expand going down. Of course, the Forge has been down. It's about 50% done, followed up by a gateway and a pylon right here. And so far, we just seem to have both players, kind of in that slow mode right now. Talking about Hephaistas a little bit more, I think it's almost a little absurd how he doesn't use unit hotkeys, but I believe he's also a former Brood War player, if I'm not mistaken. ROOTerdam, talking about him as a personality, he's definitely got the skills to match what he does, because I believe Dire Strait actually played against him, give or take about a year ago, and Dire Strait did beat him, but of course he was not, at the time, Dire Strait was not GM, so I think that is a rather substantial what's the word I'm looking for? Proving grounds break-in, if that makes sense. I don't know, it's a little absurd. Like, we actually have members of eXeA that are facing pros and casters alike on the ladder. And it's something to celebrate. Right now, Hephaistas is actually one drone over in his main. I think that's more than appropriate because, of course, he's going to have to put down his extractors eventually. Not really a mistake per se, especially considering, you're going to have to spend 1 or 2 drones in the main on infrastructure eventually. But I'm rather obsessive-compulsive when it comes to keeping, what's the word I'm looking for? A healthy drone count. Now, Hephaistas doesn't have, he does have vision, actually, of the Nexus in the main. He wants to keep this Overlord alive. Of course, the scouting information not quite being revealed. But this is interesting. From ROOTerdam, we actually have a double Zealot opener with an immediate Mothership core coming out. I'm just a little curious as to what this is. Is there even a Stalker on the map? No, not yet. Oh, sorry. There's now a Stalker in production along with 2 Zealots. I'm thinking this is kind of a variant of the early pressure Scout, if you will. Mothership, or excuse me, not Mothership Core. Overlord, close enough. I mean, they're both symbolic of authority. Mother, over, Lord, meaning, yeah, you guys get what I mean. I just wish I had a co-caster here to talk to me about this. And speaking of, but wait, hold on just a second. Hephaistas sees that there are now 2 Zealots out on the map. I'm not quite sure if he got a read on that Stalker or not, but he's going to have to make something to basically counter all these ground forces that we have coming at him early game. Looks like my X-Split is kind of just stuttering for just a moment. And I think we have Hephaistas going for the usual build that we actually saw the last 2 games. Yes, it's that early layer tech coming out, and he doesn't have metabolic boost yet. So the question is just how's this game going to pan out? This is going to make it at least a mid-game tech, really. Alright, the Mothership Core, the Zealots, and the Stalker trying to assert their territory over the creep of our Zerg player. But it looks like if ROOTerdam is not careful, he could end up losing his Mothership Core. Luckily, he pulls it back just in time. And so far we got double gas, but it looks like ROOTerdam actually, pulls a few too many probes off the line. Might have been, I wouldn't say an excited misclick, but of course, you know, when possible, just put 3, maybe click 1 at a time on each assimilator. It doesn't make too much of a difference, I guess, considering this is not code S play that we see. And now we just have both players kind of just teching up, and behind this we saw that ROOTerdam went ahead and decided to throw down a Stargate. The question is he going to catch on in time to find out what Hephaistas is doing? The beauty of it is I don't know how long these replays are, so I really can't tell you when exactly this game is going to end, but this could be one of those moments, as we do see the Nidus Canal and 5 Swarm hosts in production. There are presently 3 queens inside of the Nidus Canal, and the Phoenixes are going to catch on to it. They're going to pick up whatever comes out of it immediately. Probes getting pulled off the line. It's a little too late for what's happening now, and now we see that ROOTerdam is doing what he can to prevent this catastrophe from happening again. And this is beautiful reaction timing from ROOTerdam. He's actually lifting off to the queens, reducing the DPS drastically. And now we have the Stalkers coming in, trying to deal with this mistake. Crisis management is beautiful by ROOTerdam right now. The Nidus Canal has been destroyed. There is a second one going down right down here now. And these queens are being destroyed with relatively minimal losses from our Zerg. Only 3 probes killed all throughout the entire game. And now we have a siege on the front area going down for eXeA's Hephaistas. Of course, there's only 1 queen here, so anti-air is actually going to be negated with relative ease by these Phoenixes. We have the Locusts finally putting their siege down on the front sim city, the forward sim city of ROOTerdam right now. He's not that behind in supply presently. He's got 5 cannons on the way in case any of those Locusts do manage to make it in, and he's starting to crank out the robotics bay. Locusts are being picked up one at a time. There's an observer here, but the queen of all things is still here to deal with the Phoenixes. And now we have Spore Crawlers going down to act as defenses. This is just beautiful reflexes by Hephaistas. Do we have any tech ups following this? We do not, but we do have him just basically going into defensive mode. He's got to put up some of his own static defenses to hold off against any Phoenix run-bys that we may see, like, say, some retaliation. ROOTerdam trying to supply block Hephaistas, for instance, by killing all the Overlords at his main. Right now he has virtually no static defense at home. Now there is a Void Ray out and a Mothership Core as well, but of course there are 2 Spore Crawlers here. What really matters is when the multiple Void Rays get out. That is to say, the second one, the third one. If this carries on, we're going to see Prismatic Alignment used quite effectively to take down the Spore Crawlers. Not so much the Queens, but the Phoenixes can take care of that as the Void Rays are dealing with the Spore Crawlers. 1 for 1. I don't know how a Spore Crawler performs against a Void Ray. The forward gateway gets destroyed, and it looks like we have ROOTerdam on the way for some retaliation. Cry havoc and let's slip the dogs of war is what we have from ROOTerdam. But we just seem to have so much more getting cranked out from this forward Nidus Worm. There's 5 queens right now, a 6th one in there in the in the Nidus Worm, and ROOTerdam just going to town on what's here right now, killing all the static. And it looks like, you know, we could see Hephaistas in a good deal of trouble if he's not careful. He's pulling the queens back home to deal with the Void Rays. Remember, Void Rays get no buffs versus queens, guys. So all these queens are going to be able to handle the Void Rays just fine if ROOTerdam does not pull them back. And some of the Locusts are managing to get in just a little bit. They were damaging some of these cannons, and it looks like this one might fall-ish. No, it looks like the Locusts are actually trying to deal with the Colossi as well. And I think it looks like ROOTerdam may be able to hold this, if even for just a short amount of time. The workers killed is about even for both players, but right now we have superior income from ROOTerdam. Photon Overcharge being activated. ROOTerdam does not want to lose this. No, sir. Extended Thermal Lance almost ready. That means we'll be able to see the Colossi start attacking these Locusts even faster. Void Ray's coming into the mix as well right now. The Queens, not so much. We need to find a hole in Hephaistas' play for him to really lose this game. You know, he's won the last 2 games that is casted like this. Spoiler alert. Here we go, Phoenixes coming in. And it looks like basically everything's going to town on the ground forces for Hephaistas. 3 Queens lifted up. It's hard to say what they're attacking right now. Mothership Core going into a forward position. Not much else it can do right now. The Void Rays are trying their best to really keep the Locusts from coming in. And so far we seem to have ROOTerdam just holding this by the skin of his teeth. He's pushing back. Queen number 1 down. Queen number 2 is pulling back as well. There's no transfuses on the 3rd queen. It is about to fall. There's nothing but ground-to-ground attacking units for Hephaistas right now. That means all of these Swarm Hosts are now on borrowed time. They have to do some damage. Otherwise, they are in a tough position. But there's nothing but cannons being tacked on for ROOTerdam. Once they finish, they will be able to hold. And now we have 2 Colossi out, so that means once this attack loses its steam, we're probably going to see ROOTerdam push back, if even just for a moment. ROOTerdam says, I'm not done with you just yet, pal. Behind this, we just seem to have increasing supply counts for both players. The Void Rays seem to have been lost. Oh no, they fell to more Queens that were produced in the background of all this. And now we have Swarm Hosts moving forward. And the last of the cannons is about to fall, and there it is. ROOTerdam cries out GG and leaves the game. We have another victory by eXeA Hephaistas. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Breaker. Please subscribe.